to the Blooming Good Information Management Book Club. I'm Jacqueline Stockwell, and today we're going to be talking about AI. Now, I want to link my book, which is the core principles. When you're looking at rolling out AI, it's all the lovely fundamental stuff that information managers talk about that we actually need to get right before we roll out AI. So we're going to be looking at AI readiness, starting with that trusted information. Now, I do have Peter joining me today, which is super exciting. So he's going to join me later on. But if you don't know who I am, I'm Jacqueline Stockwell, CEO and founder at Leadership Through Data. And I've built this series all around my blooming good book, which is an international bestseller. So for the next, probably till the end of the year, I'm going to be taking a core concept idea from my book and bringing it into the reality and what organizations are facing now with AI. As I said, Peter Lockyer will be joining me as we go through the session today, and we're going to be starting with one of the biggest questions. Are you or your organization ready for AI? Or are you trying to build AI on top of a really messy, untrusted information and you're just a bit worried about it? Grab yourself in the chat, pop in there for me, talk to me. Sometimes when I do this, I'm thinking, oh, I feel a song a bit lonely, oh, so lonely. But yes, that's where we're going. Hey, Peter,
Hello.
wonderful. We're just getting started. I was just singing a song of just asking everybody to encourage themselves to pop a message in the chat to explain who they are and what they're doing, and just say hello to us. And then I just thought I'd have my crazy head on and start singing, and you joined me just at that beautiful point.
Yeah, we had some technical issues, huh?
We did indeed, but we nailed them and we've got there. So do you want to introduce yourself for everybody that don't know who you are?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, I'm Peter Locker. I'm uh, a funny guy that does something with information management. I try to be bold, honest, and also pop in some humor once in a while. I work for Shell as the IT manager for Enterprise IM. So basically, me and my team are setting the strategy and roadmap for unstructured data within Shell. And I'm also a board member at AIM. And yeah, that's a bit of me living in The Hague,
Amazing.
the
And
Netherlands.
for the listeners that don't know who AIM is, who are they? Just do you want to give a bit of
It's the
background to
Association for
what they
Intelligent
do?
Information. Oh, yeah, Association for Intelligent Information Management, and they deliver training, good conference to go to locally and globally. They do research papers and what else? Yeah, the Certified Information Professional certification they do as well, which is a really good certification to have, I think, if you are in this business.
Yeah, amazing. And what I really like about AIM is that they've really taken this AI lens to information management, haven't they? And they're really sort of on the AI transition. So you can absolutely join them for membership. So today, Peter, we're talking about AI. Now, AI isn't coming. It's been here. It's been around for a while, but there's lots of hustle and bustle because it's being utilized more and more in everyday work. So the question isn't whether organizations will use it. The question is whether they have the information foundations, governance, trust, and leadership in place to use it safely and effectively. And I really like to explain. So I love AI. I utilize it a lot. It's very much my executive assistant. It has absolutely transformed my life being dyslexic and ADHD. So not great at writing emails, not great at sitting down and starting on a blank page, and not great at organising things. So I've called mine Vincent now, which is quite exciting.
So you gave it a name.
I named it. I named co-pilot Vincent, so it's called
Just call
Vincent
it
now.
Peter.
But I think it's really important to like make sure, you know, the shiny new, the productivity, all the amazing things that come out of AI, which everyone's getting enthusiastic about and really liking and utilizing. But the information foundations are completely being missed, in my view, the governance. And actually, there's a balance when we talk about trust is people trusting AI too much? Are they not engaging with it because they don't trust it? So loads of stuff that we can talk about over the next couple of weeks, because you're joining me over the next couple of weeks, aren't you?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah.
That is the plan.
Well, it depends a little
So,
bit how good I'm doing it today, right?
sorry, you're a bit muffly. If you could just lean
Oh,
forward a
sorry.
little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, okay, I'll move forward a little bit. I was saying, well, it depends a little bit how I'm doing today, if you're going to re-invite me for next week.
Oh, absolutely. I just want to talk about AI, change management, information management, and just take all that amazing knowledge that you have in your brain and you share with me one to one. And now we're going to share it with the world, Peter. So let's get started. So we're seeing loads of large organizations, the opportunities, the risks, and what information leaders should be doing right now. Now, right at the end, I'm going to be talking about our new scorecard, which is an AI accelerant. So, some really good questions that you can work through. Gives you a really nice, shiny report and gives you areas where you need to focus on your attention. Now, Peter, I've told you what excites me about AI, but what excites you about AI right now?
So what you see is that, well, for me, it's two things, right? I think in my private life, I play around with it and do funny, crazy things. But if you look at my professional side, what I what I like about it that currently I think that AI finally moves into the boardroom. It's a topic there, and information management is part of that. So it moves from information management now. Also, information also moves now from the back office to the center of business conversation. So for years we've been talking about governance, metadata, retention, information quality, and now also our leaders in our companies are realizing that we need trusted information because that's the power or the fuel of powerful AI. And AI has created that direct connection between information quality, business productivity, innovation, decision making, and in many ways, AI is giving information management the momentum to shine. You like the word shine, I know. The organizations that win with AI will be the ones with the strongest information foundation. So if I say that in a one sentence, AI has turned information management from an hygiene factor and a compliance factor into a competitive advantage for the businesses.
Yeah, I really like that. But you see a lot of trends. So we had GDPR, then
Mhm.
we had Microsoft 365, and now we've got AI. And they're really, and I'm going to use the word shiny tools because they sit over the top. Obviously, GDPR is compliance and legislation. Um, but they're things that help information leaders within our business, like accelerate them like forward. So it gets them in front of the leadership. But how has AI in particular changed the conversation around information management that it hadn't before?
Yeah, what you see in the company that I work for, it really went from compliance to value. And what I mean with that is historically information management was often viewed as a compliance function and focusing on retention schedules, records and regulation. And we had to be compliant, not to lose our license to operate within our company or get fines. Well, AI has changed that because the conversation now is about business value. So compliance is a commodity. We're all doing it very well, hopefully. But now we need to look at enabling trusted AI and improving our productivity and accelerating our decision making and that will unlock innovations within our company. So really start using that information you have and the AI as an engine to create that better business outcome. And again, compliance remains essential, but it's no longer the end goal for our businesses. The end goal is to have information, to have insight, to have context, and start using that not only to protect our license to operate, but to move to a license to innovate. So again, compliance keeps us in the game, and trusted information helps you win it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I've spoken to a few of my customers recently, and one's been putting off AI so they can get the foundations set up. One's in a position where they're just going to roll out and they're just kind of not listening. So it's really different in different organizations around the conversation, isn't it? But I do feel like when there's an AI project established, that actually information leaders could, get involved with that conversation and get the sort of money and the budget that they need to just just deliver on all those beautiful things that you're describing.
Yeah, but sorry to interrupt here, Jacqueline. The, it's really high level keywords that I'm throwing in here, right? But reality is, it's very bloody hard to do. And even if you're a big company, a small company, medium size, it's very hard. And again, the information is the core of the output. So you need to start creating that foundation there. Um, and then I think that if you look at the information management profession, our skills are exactly what AI is needing currently. So while we were in the basement doing our records, our retention schedules, etc., to keep us compliant, I think now it's time to get out of the cellars and start shining again, using that word. So AI is consuming and acting as acting on information at an unprecedented speed and scale, right? So it shows you what's wrong and what's right in a very quick way. And information professionals already understand the governance, the metadata, the lifecycle management, classification, trust, and quality. So, and that is exactly the capabilities that organizations now need to scale up AI in a responsible way. So the profession has moved from the sideline to a center stage because AI success depends on our discipline that we have developing for decades. So what I see is that what I think is AI needs trusted information, and trusted information is what information managers do the best.
Yeah, 100%. And it's information is gold. Like information is the thing that, we need to look after, not hold for too long, and make sure that we are actually managing it so AI can run effectively because it's garbage in, gospel out. It's my new saying,
Yeah,
Peter. It was an
yeah,
amazing conversation that I had
yeah.
with a gentleman that you introduced me to, actually. And I thought that was brilliant because people are consuming AI, looking at it, taking it as trusted truth, taking it as gospel, and churning it out. But obviously, if we haven't done the foundational layers underneath it, it will then take from what it's taken out, which is the gospel, and pump it back through again, and then replay that cycle. And if we've not done those foundations, we've not set the parameters, you're just going to end up into more garbage instead of gospel, more garbage.
And without knowing, yeah, because there are examples where certain chatbots using information from the repositories that are available, and they're using information that is either concept or draft, and the user is asking for certain policies that are available for within the company, and yeah, it can be very hard to identify as an end user if the result is good. But yeah, if you get a policy that is in draft or concept, you can make the wrong decisions. And that have
Yeah,
been seen in practice. And there are
yeah,
many more examples of that. Just Google them and you will find out what can go wrong. But don't understand me wrong here. There's a risk, but there's also a huge opportunity there.
yeah, huge opportunity. So why do you think information professionals should be paying attention?
Sorry, say it again.
Why should information professionals be paying attention to this? Like really picking up and getting on the AI?
Well, like I said, because the profession really has moved now from the sideline into center stage, and AI depends on the information that we've been managing for so many years. So I think that's why the professionals need to pay attention to this. Um, but don't forget about the upscaling. You have to upscale yourself. I mean, these technology changes are going so quick. I mean, I don't even are able to use every tool that's available or understanding everything that is happening. It goes so quick. I need my technical advisors there as well. If you look at the professional perspective there, I mean, privately, yeah, just play around, use it for your benefit, surprise your kids, whatever you do. But yeah, and you can do much more. I mean, it's holiday season, right? You can make your travel plans using ChatGPT or Copilot. Um, but those are the basic things. If you're really going to put it into a business process, that information foundation needs to be there, needs to be correct, and that's where we as information professionals can really help because we've been doing this for decades.
Yeah, agreed. And it goes back to that thing at the point is trust and the risks. So get involved with AI, and then you'll be able to get more and more things done from an information management, like the foundation point, what you're describing, because actually you can go with the organization. And I think you've raised a really good point around not knowing everything all the time. It's around having that base layer so you can hold your own conversations within boardrooms or meetings, so you know enough that you can actually hold authority and credibility, but not knowing everything down to the technical level. Like you said, you get your technical guy in, and I think there's that basis of when we have to understand our own professional development. It's like, well, here's the bar. I'm going to hit mid bar. I'm going to understand it to a level so I can understand what needs to be done from the foundations perspective, but anything else I'm going to outsource, who someone else has more strengths than
Yeah,
me.
what you see is if you look at the end user, Jackie, that in my company we have a Copilot Cafe every bi-weekly or weekly, and it's just 2 times on that particular day, and you can't because of the time zones, but you can call in and they showcase examples that you can use in your work, just to make yourself more productive. Within the business line I'm working, we had a AI learning path for 12 weeks where first off we get the foundation in place, we get the LinkedIn trainings or whatever trainings are out there, self-paced, and then you talk about it, and then after the 12 weeks there were sessions of how people were using it for themselves to be more productive but also within their business and showcase that. So that is really cool to do, and I think a big company but also a small company can do that. You always
Agreed.
have people that know the technology better than me or you, and they are always wanted to showcase what they know and teach you. So
Yeah, agreed. And I think it's such a good concept, Copilot Cafe. So I'm always a key encourager of 2 hours a week. You put it in your calendar for professional development, right? And you do that for
mhm,
basis reasons. One, to hold better conversations, find out about new technology, and be able to. I mean, I always get excited when I train or get taught something new. Every day I learn something new. Anyway, Peter, I learned how to
yeah.
drive a horse today, which is the first time I've ever driven my horse around. So it's really exciting. Go on.
No, you're not meaning riding a horse, like you mean driving it from A to B in a wagon, right? Yeah,
Driving it from
yeah,
A to B in a wagon. I was
yeah.
absolutely terrified. Probably didn't sleep very well last night. I had to go and pick it up, and everyone's like, "Don't use the brakes. Drive really slowly. Livestock." So I was absolutely terrified. I was driving this van, and my daughter in the car, and I was thinking, "Oh my God, I'm so scared." But I'm really excited because I'm doing something new. But, oh my God, I'm so scared. Oh yeah, I'm really proud. I'm doing this. And then I kind of, you know, got there and I cried with this pride of and relief, I think, because I got the pony there alive.
No,
But
but it's a good example, right? Because do it in your own pace. Try to use it and fail. Well, with the horse it's a
mhm.
bit difficult, right? But don't try to put on that accelerator straight away, because then yeah, you don't learn and you fail too many times. Take your own pace on it, and find people that around you that know it better than you, because you can always there are always people like that, and you can learn from them.
Yeah, and I love that. Just carrying on with that. My friend, I just went once with her before, and she showed me how to drive, and I was very grateful. So I'd learned from somebody, which is why I love community and sharing. And she said, "Don't care who's behind you. You just focus on the horse." So like I could look out my back window and there's like trails of cars while I was doing 30 miles an hour. But I think it's really when you talk about professional development and you talk about your co-pilot calves, that's kind of why I wrote blooming good information management, because obviously it gives you that pathway, those little short nuggets of information that you can read, tab. I know Claire Boyle tabbed it to the inch of its life. the book, so you can just use it as a reference guide, but also the accelerator. So there's a 12-month AI accelerator to do exactly what you've just described. So 12 months, learn some self-pace, jump on the program, and then have those conversations in that community. So you don't put your foot on the accelerator and the pony goes
Yeah.
back into the truck. So talking about putting your brakes on, Peter, why
Yeah.
are organizations still getting it wrong?
Um, my opinion is that they start with technology because technology is safe, it feels comfortable, but I think you need to start with information. So too many organizations start, like I said, too many organizations start with an AI tool and not with the information foundation. They're focusing on models, co-pilot agents, without addressing the content management. All I already mentioned the last 15 odd minutes. But AI doesn't fix magically poor information. It only emphasizes, it makes it bigger, whatever exists there. So if your information is fragmented, which in many organizations is still the case, it is outdated. In many companies, still the same, and it's or untrusted. Yeah, you just have an issue with the output of AI, and you already alluded on it. AI will simply scale those problems faster, and yeah, I don't think it will be then of a benefit of us as organizations. So what I would say is AI doesn't fix information problems; it exposes them and amplifies them.
Yeah. And I think you've, really touched it beautifully about the exposing the weaknesses that already exist once you've, deployed AI. So it's about having that foundation. Um, so trust is a really big thing, right? So people trust is a big thing. What role does trust play in successful AI adoption?
I think trust is the foundation of everything. Um, if you cannot trust the information, then people will not trust AI. Um, and again, AI systems are only as reliable as the information that is being used and accessed. Um, and trust comes again from good governance and clear ownership, quality of metadata, and strong controls. And these foundation needs to be in place so organizations can confidently scale AI in their organization and embed them for decision making. Again, you don't want to make a decision on untrusted data or data that is in the wrong context. So organizations need to work on that foundation for information. And again, there are probably many examples of where companies didn't do it the right way. Um, but yeah, to put it into a one or two liner, um, people don't trust AI because it's intelligent. They trust AI because the information behind it is truthworthy. So again, I think the core of it is your information, your data, your managing, you're having there. So going back to our profession, I think we're in a good spot here.
Yeah, agreed. So it's the trust of the organization to the technology, it's the trust of the people utilizing the technology, and it's the trust of the outputs that the technology is pushing out. And I kind of feel that sits in three areas. Would you want to add any more that I've missed?
Um, no, I don't think so. No.
Cool, that's fine. I just kind of wanted to summarize what you're saying
No,
because I
I
thought
was
that's
thinking
really
of something
good.
else, but anyway, I was
Yeah.
just thinking. Yeah. Anyway.
And I think you've described it really well where governance and AI sit together. Is there anything that you would want to add that you haven't already added to that conversation?
No, I think the context, so the contextualization of your information is important as well. So knowing where your information comes from and what it is, then you can really use it. So I would like
Yeah,
to add that. Yeah.
agreed. And do you
And
want to add anything on the importance of reviewing your ROT, your redundant, obsolete, and trivial information when it comes to AI?
Yeah, that's the point I wanted to make, right? Because I'm saying, well, your information foundation needs to be correct, and it needs to be clean, trusted, through governance, metadata, whatever. Um, but we've been working on a project of auto tagging, because that will help us in understanding also where our rot is. And there was a lot of manual work in that project to identify the classifiers. And we thought, well, that's nice, but it will take us forever to do that, to get the right classifiers, to train the models, etc., etc. So we switched to utilizing AI to get us those qualifiers. Or the information that we need to train the models. So you can also utilize AI in the beginning to start training your models. I'm not sure if I'm giving the answer you wanted to hear, but it just came to mind that it's not only the information needs to be right to use AI, but you can also use AI to get the right information.
Agreed. And just looking at life cycles as well, Peter, it's one of the fundamental things at records management, life cycles of how information flows through the organization.
Yeah, indeed. I did a presentation with Ellen Pell Sharp um, in Sao Paulo, and it was exactly, and also in Baltimore, it was exactly about that. So it used to be a life cycle where you have, I create something, we go through the different life cycle steps, and then I dispose it or make it a record, so to say. Um, but that changed as well, right, with AI. It complicates, and AI can be utilized to help you in that life cycle. Part. So the question is it a life cycle still? Is it still round, or is it a straight line? Yeah, I think we could do a whole talk about that as well
We could
with
do a
more.
whole talk about that, but
Yeah.
if you want to know any more, you could look at page 89 of the
Ah,
book, and we've done a really nice diagram in there as well. So it talks about life cycle,
okay.
which is
Good to know.
fundamentally very, very important. So we talked briefly about skills and me, driving a horse around. What
Yeah.
skills would you think the future information leaders need right now?
Right now. Um,
Or future
yeah,
information
yeah,
leaders.
yeah,
So
yeah.
let's talk
Yeah.
about young people coming in.
Yeah, so future information leaders, I think they need a blend of business knowledge, so understanding what your business is doing and want to achieve, and where the business value and outcome lies. But they also should have information management expertise and AI literacy. I think that's in that combination would be really really good to have. And with that, they need to understand the governance and the information quality and the AI risks as well, right? And change management, value realization. So how do I get value from a certain project or activity? And again, I think one of the most important things is stakeholder management. Because if you don't get the horse to go where you want to go, I think you still have a problem there. Um, and I think in my case, what I've been struggling with is um, to tell the story to the business why trusted information creates better business outcome. So why do we need to create that information foundation? And I think that is also part, I think, of change management. But the storytelling is really, really difficult. Storytelling plus fact finding, so showcasing where the value lies, short term, but also long term, because a long term value promise doesn't always work within the business because they work with shorter cycles. So you have to have value from the start.
Agreed. And I think it's really, I mean, that is fundamentally why we've got the the Empower Accelerator program and why I've written my book, Peter, because you're describing so many skills, a mix between technology, compliance, and soft skills. So when you talk
Mhm.
about stakeholder management, I would share that's just about building relationships. That's just about having conversations with people, getting them to understand your value, your credibility, your authority, and the trust that actually what you say is the right thing. And in doing that, you can use personality types, So I love the book that I always recommend. It's Surrounded by Idiots. It's on Amazon and it talks about the disc profiles, but it allows you to understand the four different personality styles. So you can do a bit of self-reflection in those 2 hours that we're suggesting people should take every week. But also that you know how to communicate to somebody else. And it's interesting the shift because when I was younger, people used to say to me, "Oh, communicate to other people the way that you want to be communicated." Well, that's not actually correct because everybody's brain function is different. Everybody is different. There's people that analytical data. There's people like me, enthusiastic. If you use absolutely big words, I'm like, "Whoa, not got a clue what you're talking about." But that's not because I'm not intelligent. It's just the way that my brain processes things. And that's one of the biggest things that certainly from my experience in the NHS that I wish I'd done better and built those relationships and have those one-on-one conversations like with directors, direct reports, stakeholders, and say this is the benefit for you and this is the relationship that I'm going to building. And I work on a 60-40, Peter. So 60% relationship building and 40% doing the actual job because you need to build those relationships so you can delegate tasks out to those other people that you've built those relationships with. So I think that's fundamentally very important. You talked about storytelling, which I absolutely love. And because this is a book club series, you're going to have lots of things. Page 30 of my book has my 5-tier key storytelling elements as well that you can digest and start creating things. So, Peter, what advice would you give somebody who feels like overwhelmed? I mean, we've been talking 30 minutes about
Yeah.
AI. Even I'm feeling those new skills you're saying. Like, what advice would you give somebody who feels overwhelmed by AI?
But do you want the short answer? Let's do the short answer.
Well, we've got 30 minutes left, so it's your
Oh, really?
choice.
Okay. But my short answer would be go back to basics, right? So start small. You don't need to understand everything, every model, every tool, every trend. You don't need to understand every AI trend. You don't need to understand that, right? Um, Focus on your foundation. Focus on the simple questions that are out there. Um, do we know where our information is? Can we trust it? Is it governed? Is it accessible? And strong information management practice remain the best preparation for an AI-driven organization or an AI-driven future. Um, and organizations can master the fundamentals today. Um, who can master those fundamentals today, they will be better positioned for whatever comes next. So again, start to at that foundation, but from a personal perspective, because this is a two-way question. I think it's about the organization and about the individual. Also there, go back to basics. Start small. Start experimenting for yourself to understand those foundations of AI. Don't start buying the biggest book on AI because that will be outdated tomorrow. Just start small. Um, and you don't need to start with AI. You need to start with trusted information, I think. So again, go back to those basic questions about where's my information, can I trust it, and then on top of that, learn in the 2 hours a week about AI, and don't let yourself make crazy about all these colleagues that are having plenty of times. They don't have kids and they do AI in the evening because I don't have time for that. So I have to do other things. But again, do it in your own pace. Um, do it small. Experiment yourself, and start learning those fundamentals.
Yeah, amazing. And I just add to that because it's a book
Yeah.
club series, I would say if you're feeling overwhelmed and don't know where to start, take some time out, sit down with a cup of tea and a book and read what you need to do for successful AI deployment and then break down where you need to start from there. And I think it's so important that, you know, you're an information leader, you have such a full life anyway, you're really balanced, Peter, and you've got a really good plan. But if you don't have a plan, you need to have a plan to execute against that.
So I was in a presentation a year ago or so, or maybe a year and a half ago, and it was about leadership in AI and what a certain company was doing. Um, and there was this person on stage telling about all the successful projects they did with AI related projects they did. And then I asked a question afterwards. I asked him, look, with all the audience there, right? I said, oh, look, can you tell me which projects failed and what you learned from that? The person didn't really have a good answer on that one. He was not prepared for that, but he was prepared to showcase the successes that he made. But why I'm saying this is also learn from the mistakes you make. And you will make mistakes in any AI project, but use that to your benefit. Use that for your next project and your next project. Keep on learning on that because those failures really showcase you what you do wrong, what you can do better, but also where the real value of AI is.
Yeah, agreed. And I call them magic mistakes. And if you actually look around, everybody is sharing their mistakes. Now, they're sharing their mistakes not because they're sharing their mistakes, but they're wanting other people to learn from them so you don't do the same thing again. But I believe that mistakes come with growth, Peter, as you described. You know, you do the again and again. And we just because we talked about my pony. First time I went the pony, I didn't drive, sat in the passenger side with my friend. She showed me how to drive. I mean, I know how to drive, but never driven livestock. You know, there's this camera and there's all technical things like what things I've got to pack, water, food, you know, tack, all of that jazz. So when it came to coming out on my own today, it was like we had a checklist and we kind of worked through those. And we didn't forget anything. So two ADHDers together, it was great that we didn't forget anything. And then you go to, oh, I feel a bit more confident. Yeah, of course I'll book again. But it's the same thing, isn't it? You learn over and over again. You look at the LinkedIn Live series. I've been running them successfully now every week for a couple of months now, and I've learned technical issues. Just go with it. So it is really about just being bold, being brave, and being beautiful, and just giving it a go. And certainly when I started to use Copilot, my Vincent, it was very much, oh, I just try this email here, or I just try this, you know, Excel thing here, and Teams I'd been using quite successfully for the transcripts and the summaries and all that. And then you get sort of a bit more bolder, a bit more experienced, don't you? And you start writing the initial documents, putting them to presentations. And now I'm have lots of trust that using Excel spreadsheets, and it's kind of transformed my life because I could never do or have the attention span to work on spreadsheets. So I think it's an amazing thing of what you're saying around learning and just keep doing and just keep doing. And I think that's why I wanted you on the show, Peter. I think you're amazing. So
Yeah,
I'm going to give you a crystal ball.
uh, but I want to make one remark first because we have time.
Yep.
So I did a lecture at the University of Manchester to information management professionals, right, master students. And I was standing there, and I still feel I'm young and mid career, whatever you call it, a little bit seasoned. And I was telling about information management in the company I work for, and showcasing a little bit what our strategy and roadmap is and what we're trying to achieve. And then, yeah, you get all kinds of difficult questions, which is fine. But then I was reflecting myself to the crowd that was in front of me, and I was thinking, whoa, these are students, and they're doing a master course. And in a couple of months' time, they will enter the profession, so to say, right? With that graduation, with their master. And I was thinking, whoa, when I started my career 25 odd years ago, I didn't know anything, I kept growing and growing. And what you see is that what I wanted to say is that these people are the future, and they were coming back to me after the lecture saying it's very hard to find a job. I don't know what AI is going to do for me, how I should embrace it, whatever. And I was just thinking, yeah, I would like to meet those people in 5 or 10 years time and see how they grew in their knowledge and their profession. That will be amazing to see, I think.
Yeah, agreed. And I think there's so, you know, we're the same age roughly. And I think we need more young people in the profession, and I'm very much of the opinion of that, bringing all their tech with them, um, but also the people skill side. We're talking about
Yeah,
AI. Um, eh, that people side will still need to be part of the job role of the future as well. So I think it's really uh, I'd love to see what that looks like too,
yeah,
Peter. So,
yeah,
and and what it looks like in sort of 5, 6 years, and when we've made our mark globally.
yeah. So you want to know how our profession will look like in 5 years, right?
I do want to know what you
Yeah.
think the
Hmm.
profession will look like in 5 years with AI.
I really don't know. No, that's not true. Um, so, like I was already saying, I think that information management professionals will be strategic enablers for AI-driven organizations. I mean, those information foundations needs to be correctly managed. And again, we've been doing that for many times. And we will spend less time in managing our records after the fact, and more time designing those information ecosystems that are trusted, governed, searchable, AI ready, and it will it drives value from creation and onward, right? So that's the change in that life cycle, information life cycle that we have. And I also think, and I've already alluded on, the profession will move from protecting our information to actively enabling innovation, productivity, and business value through information. So, um, to summarize it, the future of information management is not protecting our information, it is enabling our information to create value from it. And I think that's where we're moving on in the next 5 years. And then if you plot all the technology developments in there in the next 5 years, and you ask or take that in account and you ask me the question again, I really don't know where it will end up.
No, and it's one of those magic questions that I just love to see everybody's. I mean, as I said right at the start, we've had so many trends every couple of years with different things as a bolt on, but the fundamentals I think will be exactly the same. We'll still to be talking about life cycles. We'll be talking about retention. We'll be talking about privacy, security. Everything fundamentally will still be the same, but there'll just be a new shiny new on top of it that's already embedded. If you look at Microsoft is essentially embedded in the majority of organizations. AI
Yeah.
will have the same impact. We'll just change the way we work to adapt to technology, but I still think the fundamentals will be the same. And I would hope that there'll be younger people in the profession, like you said. So I'm very much I've hit out on TikTok now just so I can get more and more young people just excited about what we talk about.
TikTok is old, right, or not?
Well, I'm 41, so I wouldn't say I was.
Okay.
Brilliant. So what I'll do is I'll encourage you all, if your AI readiness assessment would be the Empower AI readiness assessment for leadership through data. Please head over to the website. I'll pop that in the chat for you. It does give you the foundations that we're talking about, and it will give you a nice rounded view of the Empower program, which are also chapters in my book, which is the fundamentals that you need for there. So Peter is back with me next week just to keep on talking about AI. We've
What are
got
we going to talk about?
change management and all lots of lovely things with AI coming up as well. So if you found this conversation really, really engaging, please pop a link in the chat to us. Peter, how can listeners or watchers, shall I say, reach out to you if they want to carry on with the conversation with
LinkedIn.
you?
LinkedIn is the easiest one. And just send me a message. I will reply back.
Nice, nice. So I just want to leave you with this message. AI does not replace information management. It exposes what you've been doing in the first place. So have you been doing something properly in the first place? Good. If you haven't, it will expose those things for you. So look at the fundamentals. If AI is raising questions in your organization around governance, compliance, ownership, trust, and risk, then don't wait for something to go wrong. Head over to Leadership Through Data Scorecard, and we'll be able to give you something you can take forward. We've also got our 21-day Empower program, which is part of the 12-month accelerator that we've talked about today. So, Peter, you look like you're going to say something with your
No, no,
hands there.
I just wanted to add that implementing a new tool or AI in your organization, yeah, you have that foundation needs to be correctly, but it's a change journey. What I always say is that that checkbox in the system to check it on and off, right, is the easiest thing to do. And I don't disqualify all the great things that the IT people are doing, but getting people to start using the tools in the correct way, getting them trusting the output of it, that's the change process, and that is so important. Um, well, I can talk hours about this, but I think that's one of the fundamentals there.
Brilliant. And we can definitely talk about change management for AI because that's what we were talking about over the next 2 weeks. So we'll have a whole hour, Peter, that you can share your wonderful knowledge around that as well. And I think the key importance for me is the 12-month accelerant program isn't just professional development. It is about you accelerating your information management. So if you're rolling out Copilot, you head over, you get your training, live training, self-paced, documentation, and then you get access to our Q&As. And the Q&As are where you can ask one of our experts those really, really important questions that you just want that reassurance. My friends sitting in my truck showing me what to do. I needed that reassurance before I could go out on my blissful own and ride and drive my pony. Peter, it's been absolutely sensational. Thank you for joining me
Thank
today.
you very much.
Please like and share this content, and we'll see you next week. It's been sensational. Thank you, everybody, for watching and for joining us.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.